what's good, cannabis investors? I hope you're all doing great, and I want to welcome you back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jordan, and today we're coming at you with this week in cannabis news from April 1st to the 7th. Now, before we jump in, if you enjoy this video or you learned something, please just leave a like on it, as it really helps out my channel. And of course, if you want to learn more about this opportunity, you can subscribe below so that you don't miss any future videos. And there's plenty of content to go back, rewatch, and educate yourself with. Try to think of these videos as a time capsule. I've tried to put all the news and facts in one place so that you can watch episodes over time to learn about the evolution of the US cannabis industry, identify top US MSOs that you think will be worth a lot more in the future than they are now based on their current market caps and growth potential from new markets coming on, and take advantage whenever you feel ready if you wish to do so. And Monday, we got another big domino falling in our favor. Huge breaking news: Florida Supreme Court approves cannabis ballot language. Unfortunately, the most important lines: in light of those limited considerations, we approve the proposed amendment for placement on the ballot. Based on my last week's video, the initiative right now is polling at 67%. So lots of room for growth to get more people on board. Lots of room for Sam and prohibitionists to fuck around and get in the way. So it's going to be exciting, though it needs 60% for approval. Imagine it might pass with like a 62, 63. It'll be tight, but this is a huge domino that we needed. Florida about to turn on, and imagine thinking that a market with 121 million tourism every year, 25 million adults, however many outlets for medical already, and medical market that's continuing to grow year over year. This is not a pump and dump, you clown. And so a bit more here, but the other negative out of the week from Florida was that DeSantis decided to open his mouth and basically say that he doesn't think the voters are going to pass this, which hopefully that backfires. And then he also said that cannabis legalization reduces the quality of life, which is absolutely horseshit. It actually increases property values and a lot more beneficial things that we'll get to in a moment, and I've highlighted over time. And then he also says that it's going to smell bad. He loves to just talk shit like that to probably appease his other donors. And so more here if you just wanted to pause to read the details, but the Florida market is a behemoth. So amazing resource from Pablo. Thank you for sharing this one. This is not a joke, though it did come out on April 1st. Florida Rec Valuation Upside. So he did a lot of the heavy lifting for us. 25 pages of summary on essentially the Florida call on Monday and what that can mean for the companies. Clearly, he's grabbing the data from the OMMU resource that we check out every week. So it's pretty up to date. Recommend checking that out. Link will be in the comments. Now, also from Beacon, thanks Todd Harrison for sharing this one. It doesn't tell us anything we don't already know. It's nice to hear we're not alone in thinking that potential legalization is at best only partially reflected in current prices, and if so, for a few companies. While there's still work to be done to secure the voter approval from now until then, this was likely the biggest hurdle. I imagine it was. And so, hey, great post from this guy named Jared. I'm going to follow you for it because he's been paying close attention like clockwork. Every Friday for 5 weeks, the Biden admin and Democrats have created some media buzz on cannabis. This seems to be true, hence why this time could be different than obviously the past years. So March 7th, State of the Union announces cannabis reform and rescheduling. White House meeting called out DEA to reschedule, and current schedule is ridiculous. I think it was 14th, 15th. 21st, Chuck Schumer circulates petition for safer banking bill. That asshole raising funds off of the carrot he's been dangling at the expense of the American people for how long? March 29th. Announces Second Chance Month, and then April 5th, which we're going to get to next, but Schumer sends a letter to Senate with safer banking as a priority when they return from break. And so we've waited a long time to get here. The DEA announcement will likely hit one of these 3 weeks coming up. And so, hey, hold on to your seats, folks. Oh, it's just getting exciting. While this is what came out, so I believe Connoisseurs.io rebranded as the Dank Informer. He tweeted on April 4th, "Don't worry, guys, Schumer will come out tomorrow saying safer banking is a priority and coming soon." Holy shit, great call. And I just can't believe that I once thought that this guy had a little bit of decency in him. It's like, man, you learn over time. It's required education. And then we get to the good stuff. And in the weeks and months ahead, a direct reference to safeguard cannabis banking. Now, how concerning would it be if there was no mention of safe or any cannabis banking in this whatsoever? That would obviously lead us to believe Schmuck's going to do the same thing he's done for the last 3 years. But this time seems different because it's all choreographed. And it only becomes obvious or visible to those that are paying attention. And hey, we're the lucky few that unfortunately have just been super early and finally getting to that tipping point. And so from Do the Right Thing, found this from, now I don't know the source, and it's this dude who I have no idea who he is, and then this guy John Bonner, former Speaker of the House, I believe, who left politics and got into the cannabis industry in Canada. And so take from this what you will. Just wanted to share it, though, because a lot of what they mention is true, and it seems, the push for safer is real, and that's likely going to give big investors the safe harbor language and the green light. Once the U.S. looks like a sure thing, it's safe to finally invest again. So it's just the production on this is hilarious. It's like, who are they talking to? It looks super fake, but anyways.
With traditional investments, only 17.5% of the money comes from little fish like you and me, Mike. The other 82.5% is from the big players, the major investment firms, the hedge funds, pension funds, established corporations. Banking restrictions are preventing almost all of those investment firms and funds from diving headfirst into cannabis.
Well, they're dying to get in. I'm helping some of these bigger fish get ready to invest. There's hundreds of billions of dollars sitting on the sidelines.
That's exactly what happened in Canada. They had been talking about full legalization for years. It was as close to a surefire thing as it gets.
And while U.S. hasn't been full legalization, it's like Schedule 3 is the solution. We've been talking about it for years, and once that announcement from the DA comes, that's a surefire thing as it gets. Plus safe passing, safe harbor language, us retail in before the big institutions.
So the heavy hitters, the Vanguards, the Morgan Stanleys, the BlackRocks, they started making the trip up to Canada with their big bag of cash in hand. They knocked on the doors of these tiny cannabis firms, and suddenly, they weren't so tiny anymore.
I was on the board of a major tobacco company.
This guy kills me.
You think big tobacco is staying on the sidelines? I've talked to these guys. They're going to sit this one out. And they have the dollars to acquire whoever they want. And so, anyways, that link will be in the comments. And why is it high time to finally make this happen? Well, 9 out of 10 Americans support legalizing cannabis, new poll finds. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. You can read it and weep or grab the link in the comments. But hey, a lot of benefits, and the states that have legalized are light years ahead in many ways than the ones that haven't, especially offering a safer, non-addictive medicinal alternative. And so from Cannabis Business Times, these 23 states, DC collected $2.9 billion in cannabis excise tax revenue in 2023 alone. It's a lot better to have $2.9 billion going back into legal markets and hopefully redistributed somewhat well over time with practice, so that the legal markets that, have jumped up and helped create wealth and given people opportunity, can do all that legally as opposed to illegally. So lots of good info here. If you wanted to pause to read, not going to spend too much time on it though, is just kind of highlighting where we're at. I mean, the industry's been legal for a long time in half the country, not the other half, right? But a very cool breakdown of just states, their excise tax revenue, and their structure for anyone that is interested. But wanted to get into some medical studies, and I was happy to see this past week as Tilray Medical announces new scientific publication, aka survey, on age-related patterns of medical cannabis use. And so it's nice to see a medical cannabis company pushing out some good medical findings because, hey, that's kind of the point. We need more of this. But 53.8% of medical cannabis patients in study reported a decrease on prescription opioid use. Now, who hates that? Opioid manufacturers, opioid distributors, doctors, rehabs, yada yada, the list goes on. But so this is the actual study. Of course, the link to that press release is there if you want it. But yeah, so a survey of authorized patients in Canada. Main thing though, it found 2,697 patients. The mean age was 54.3 years old. Proportion of females was roughly half, so that's a good sample size. Main thing, among patients taking prescription opioids, most of them were older patients. 54% reported a decrease in use concurrent with medical cannabis. Booyah! That's why Big Pharma has lobbied so long. They're terrified, right? So that's why the change is coming. Just wanted to share this is an older study that Tilray helped out with as well in March of 2021. And the findings are fascinating, as get this. Baseline opioid use was reported by 28% of participants, dropping to 11% at 6 months. So that's however many, 15% stopping completely. While daily opioid use went from 152 megs to 32.2 milligrams, a 78% reduction in dosage. And so using cannabis alongside it had people taking smaller doses that would make them less of a zombie, make them maybe less addictive. And so, hey, this study provides individual level perspective on how well cannabis can work. So, long overdue, ladies and gentlemen. All the links, again, will be in the comments. From Mayo Clinic Proceedings, a cross-sectional survey study of cannabis use for fibromyalgia symptom management as of April 1st, I believe, or April 2024. Main thing, results here. Link will be in the comments if you want to go through that. But improvements in pain symptoms with cannabis use was reported by 82%. That's not like 50% or 60% or a measly 25%. That's 82%. That's huge. So clearly, many medical benefits that were just on the cusp, really, of breaking through and discovering. And so from Springer Link, antimicrobial and antibiofilm effect of cannabinoids from cannabis sativa against methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus causing bovine mastitis. I think that has to do with cows. So maybe cannabis's antimicrobial effect in cows, April 3rd. I'm not sure. I just pulled this up because it looked like it has some sort of positive effects. These findings suggested cannabinoids may be a promising alternative to antibiotic therapy for bovine biofilm-associated MRSA. So yeah, possibly using cannabinoids for some sort of treatment with cows. I could be wrong, but let me know in the comments if I am. Otherwise, you can grab the link and go through that if you're interested in 2023 Healthy Youth Survey data available. Found this one. Oh yeah, I guess I can just exit this. This came out of Washington, I believe. But to shut the prohibitionists up, in 2021, survey data showed a 50% decline in youth cannabis use and alcohol use in the past 30 days among 10th graders. The 2023 results show these numbers have remained stable since 2021. Booyah. So
legalizing and ending cannabis prohibition sees youth use actually go down. And so, yeah, I believe this was Washington State, though. Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board. So I wanted to share that. A few more studies. Groundbreaking study cracks one of pot's greatest mysteries. Now, this one is in sort of that conversation of terpenes changing the effects of THC. Do different types of cannabis get people high in different ways? And so scientists seem to have found something, apparently. There's a little science on the stoner side. This month's researchers at Johns Hopkins University published results from a clinical trial showing that adding a specific terpene to THC changed the experience of getting high. This is the first clinical evidence that terpenes can change the effects of THC. So pretty interesting. This is the study, so links again will all be in the comments. But vaporized D-limonene, so it seems like this is the terpene, selectively mitigates the acute anxiety-creating effects of delta-9 THC in healthy adults who intermittently use cannabis. So it seems like this terpene gets rid of the anxiety effects that some people have. Fascinating. So more here if you wanted to pause to read. It's pretty technical though. But hey, these are the findings. Definitely more reason to deschedule so we can study a lot more. And I've got a few more things to show you. Yes. So this is a recent study out of March 2024. Beneficial effects of cannabidiol from cannabis. Overall, this paper provides valuable insights into the prospective development of medical cannabis with a particular emphasis on CBD. And this was out of South Korea. And so when I looked at the funding, research was supported by a grant from the Natural Product Institute of Science and Tech, Ansong, Korea. And so very interesting, though. Long read through. Lots of good information, though, and it just kind of highlights cannabis's uses in all these other things. Industrial application of CBD. CBD in COVID-19. CBD in diabetes. Effects of CBD in cancer patients. Chronic pain relief effects of CBD. CBD as epilepsy, right? All these things that we know cannabis is medicine for, is adjunctive to treat schizophrenia. And so lots there if you wanted to read. Well, this was one that I found that was like, wow, what a share. So thank you, Justin Levy. The rehab industry opposes cannabis legalization and normalization because hundreds of thousands of people are no longer forced to use their services, which means hundreds of millions of dollars lost every year. You can't say that there are many industries that don't want cannabis to succeed, because there are. Imagine this. From 2010 to 2020 in illegal states, and that number in states where cannabis is legal. What an exit drug and, potential public health victory for states that are just slow to act. And so thought that was fascinating. Just wanted to share. We move on to some state news. New York, Syracuse.com, in jaw-dropping decision, judge strikes down all New York recreational cannabis rules. And when you first read that, it's like, what? So is it going back to the Wild West where you got 10,000 illicit shops competing with the 100 extremely overpriced legal ones? No. Update: the judge in this case amended his order late Thursday to include only the regulations related to marketing and advertising. And so that's a big difference, I think, from this misleading title. Long story short is it seems like there was a court case with Leafly Holdings about advertising on third-party sites like them. And so, long story short, this is a writer, Ashley Southall, for the New York Times. Basically, here's the long story short. A ruling that seems to knock down most of New York's cannabis market rules was only intended to strike pieces banning retailers from advertising and marketing on third-party websites like Leafly. So that's what I get out of it. Judge Bryan's ruling and ultimate clarification is a positive development for New York cannabis, according to Boris. So take from that what you will. The market rollout should continue. And it was more of just something that the OCM chose to not allow Leafly to do. And then Leafly sued them because it was illegal. And now that's why they're winning, right? So New York, what a joke. On to New Jersey Ohio first. As proposed adult use regs suggested a permissive approach to cannabis sales. So thank you, Hirsch Jane, for sharing this. This article is behind a paywall, so the summary allows all of this. Similar to Missouri, which is awesome because Missouri is one of the hottest markets right now. More open and less stigmatized than in most blue states. And to summarize it for you, here's the link. Everything will be in the comments, but regs will be available in June, but adult use sales won't start until September 7th, perhaps slightly earlier. So look out for September for adult use sales to turn on in Ohio. New Jersey now, I believe. Chris Norman, our favorite source out of New Jersey, up to 123 cannabis dispensaries from 117 last week. So it seems like New Jersey's at least hearing me, and it's nice that they're ramping that up and clearing out that bottleneck, because more stores will equal more sales, more safer non-addictive medicinal alternative, and more back into the legal market, while controversial New Jersey Cannabis Control Commissioner Barker may be replaced next week. As according to the article, the New Jersey legislator does not care for his politics. That's not surprising at all, but why did they have to wait so long to finally act? Because what would you expect out of a staffer of Senator Cory Lay-Me-Down Booker? And so we'll know more next week as to who might replace him and what that could mean, but the fact that more stores are opening is good. And the only thing that could make X better is getting rid of these porn bots. Man, they're so annoying. And so Brittany has to make a feature in this week's video. But on to MSO news, and the fact that we got Q4s mid-March, and now MSOs are already going to deliver Q1s in May. They're excited to share their numbers, and it just does sort of remind me of early 2021 when I wasn't paying as close attention as I should have to the US MSOs because I was kind of focused on my biggest holding, which was Aphria. But, that bull cycle started after the COVID lows in March of 2020, and the earnings just got better. So Green Thumb, May 8th, 2024, after market closes on Wednesday. So going to be looking out for that, while Verano, first quarter 2021 on May 8th before market opens. Yeah, so Verano's actually going to be first. Then we're going to have Green Thumb later that day, while we'll have Trulieve May 9th. The next day, I imagine they're going to be morning. Yeah, before market open on Thursday, May 9th. And then Curaleaf, May 9th, 2024, after market close. So quite the lineup. We'll have Verano in the morning of May 8th, and then Green Thumb in the afternoon. And then Thursday, May 9th, we're going to have Trulieve in the morning, Curaleaf in the afternoon. I will share other MSO earnings dates as they come out, but lots to look forward to as it's a little over a month away. While from the Dank Informer, formerly Connoisseurs.io, looking at Florida Office of Medical Cannabis use this past week. Looks like strong volume across the board. Now just going to scroll down. Total patient count up to 877,941. Any new stores opened? Goldflower Cannabis in Bradenton, but main thing to take you through the images if you're interested. As always, links will be in the comments, but total flower sales in ounces by company this past week alone. Lots of cannabis always moved through these medical outlets. Total THC sales in milligrams by company alone. Nice to see Air still number 2. Total CBD sales in milligrams by company alone. And total dispensing locations by company in the state of Florida. And so, from High Finance, so thank you for putting these together. It's a different way of looking at the existing markets, but reworked Feb sales numbers on a per capita basis, and it gives a very different picture about market strength. And so, of course, Michigan being very competitive, giving out many licenses, and then driving the price down. We've got so many people spending legal dollars on cannabis there. Interesting. Very fascinating. They're doing a lot of right things there. California is the worst performing mature market. Yep, they got to open way more outlets. And then Nevada goes from second lowest to second highest. I wonder what they did differently, because that is very fascinating. And so you can take a look here, obviously, if you're interested. The source is BDSA. Well, there's another visual just looking at February sales data from 2022, when money was a lot cheaper, so people were spending more, to 2023, to now 2024. But some things to note: Missouri came on strong, looking to pass Arizona and Colorado in total sales this year already. And basically every market surpassed at least their February of last year, except for, I think, Arizona and Nevada, basically. But keep in mind, many of these are med. So if they're adult use, there's a lot more there too. So with that, from Jungle Java, I don't really follow this much, but I'm sure some of you kind of pay attention to the ETF. I'm a big fan of, just going straight into the underlying assets. But fun fact, we are 5 days into Q2, and there have been 5 inflows totaling $50,321,000. There have been 39 inflows so far this year, with a year-to-date total of $262 million. So worth highlighting that there have also been 0 redemptions. So take from that what you will. I hope JT in LA is right when he says this is the Avengers endgame right here of the bulls versus the shorts. Our 50 million versus the naked shorting CSC garbage and Canadian hedge funds. We get another 50 next week, then 100 mil, then 100 mil, and they are toast. But why are we still just sitting above $10? Now, to be fair, it was a roller coaster this week, and we did close above 10 and in the green, so can't be mad at that. What the fuck are the shorts thinking? I don't know either. Lots to speculate about, but figured I would share this from Wheat Street 420 as of what day was this? April 1st. So keep in mind this was Monday. It seems crazy and bold that the shorts are, increasing their positions. Regardless, take from that what you will. Largest shorts looking at a mix of MSOs and Canadian LPs. Well, good thing I looked at shortdata.ca, and we actually have some data as of March 31st. So more up to date. We go to largest short positions on the Canadian Securities Exchange, and interestingly enough, the shorts seem to be decreasing some of their exposure in Trulieve, Cresco, Air, and Planet 13 since the 15th. But for whatever reason, they've increased their exposure massively in Green Thumb. So take from that what you will. And I don't necessarily understand how this works. I want to see the shorts get burned because I want to see an epic short squeeze. But part of me also thinks that there's a way that the shorts are hedging their bets so that they can flip long when, the time comes. I don't know. So let me know in the comments what you think. With that, from Barron's, a write-up from, a credited investment sort of publication, if you want to call it that. Grassroots Revolution, the road to legal cannabis. For anyone that's interested, just an article here talking more about, the plans in Germany unfolding there and how that can be a bigger investment opportunity. And really just, the European opportunity at a glance looking forward. So if you're an investor interested, grab the link in the comments. And then lastly, just wanted to highlight good post from Kevin Carrillo. as the plant, man. I wish we could just deschedule, get it outright removed, so that I think we just have much easier time really taking advantage of all the capabilities. But hey, just a reminder, hemp and lime wall made with just 3 ingredients. Hemp construction, hempcrete, like so many possibilities. When exposed to a 650 degrees Celsius flame for 4 hours, the other side of the wall only experiences a 2 degrees temperature increase without any combustion. While it has a durability of 100 years and is compostable. So biodegradable and literally eliminates house fires. Like, you can't make that shit up. And so obviously many industries have wanted to keep it banned for so long. And I just think we're lucky to experience the tipping point. I mean, I imagine in our lifetimes we're not going to see the full potential of cannabis being used, but hey, one can dream, right? And so the next 3 weeks going to be entertaining, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments, but that is it for today's episode. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope you got some value out of it. What did you think of the stories mentioned? Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or suggestions, and I'd be happy to try and address them. But besides that, if you enjoyed this video and you learned something, please just leave a like on it. Subscribe below if you don't want to miss any future videos, and I will catch you next Sunday for This Week in Cannabis News. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.